What's going on, beautiful people? Before we get started, I have to mention lost a friend of mine this week, my boy Obe Noir, Xavier Roberson. R.I.P. Man, we're gonna do this one for you. Long way. Let's get going.
I'm good, I just be up in my thoughts, say, yeah. Don't feel sorry for me. No pity parties for me. New pins, new Ferraris for me. For the list of my regrets, no more sorries for me.
Man, what's going on, people? I didn't hit it. I know, man. I know I didn't hit it. But we're back. Episode 8. We're talking parenting. This is gonna be a couple part series. It's gotta be.
Yeah,
We can't fit this in one episode. But we're gonna call this one apparently.
Apparently.
See what I did there?
I did.
That's that J. Cole joint. But obviously I got my people with me as usual. I got the girl Nee.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello, world.
Sydney Olivia.
Oh, bro, chill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chill.
I was okay. It's
Can
cool.
we edit that?
Nope. Leave it in there. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
And we got
Now
that
they gonna
boy.
think they know me.
And we got that boy Misfit Chris.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna do it today since you didn't do it. Yeah.
There you go. Match
We
got the voice.
I mean,
match
I did
the voice.
say it,
He
so
did
I might
say
as
it.
well do it.
Put
You
it
know,
out there. Put it
hey,
out there.
Yeah.
You know, if I quote it, nigga, I wrote it.
Oh,
Right? But yeah, Christopher Howard.
Yep, that's what they call me.
You know, I had to quote that boy Cole.
Big Spoon.
Very few people
Big
get to
Spoon.
call
Big
me
Spoon in
Howard.
the building.
Big Spoon.
Shout out to Little Spoon.
You know, I think that's when I knew.
Now we're
Bree,
dropping all the niggas.
that's when I knew that Bree
I
was.
gave you one.
That's
but
when I knew that
geez.
Bree was real. When I heard her say Howard, I was like,
Oh, that's real
Oh,
deal.
she be saying it like how your mama call your name, like when you doing something wrong. Howard.
probably because you be doing stuff. you ain't
Probably because
supposed to.
you
Probably.
ain't got no business doing.
But let's go ahead and get started.
What's the 411?
The 411.
The
Let's
news.
get into the news.
What you got?
Stimmy checks hit.
Boom. Stimmy me.
Huh?
Yay.
Moneybag Joe.
Money bag.
That's probably why everybody in a good mood today.
I think so.
Like,
and
literally,
and,
We
everybody's in a good
$2
mood
richer.
today.
and it's St. Patty's Day.
I'm not celebrating St.
okay.
Patty's Day.
I mean,
That's why I purposely wore red. I don't celebrate that
green
shit.
I got green pants.
you got on green pants. I had a shade of green on at work today. I got the Statue of Liberty.
I'm still mad about Leprechaun 2
Bree
in the
got on
hood,
black.
so I'm okay.
What's up, Bree?
All black.
All black.
Yeah,
But
I don't like Leprechaun 2, so I'm not celebrating that.
I'm not good with you.
I'm just not gonna do it.
But let's get into this news. Let's talk about who's getting canceled next.
Oh.
Man, that would be scary.
Look, it's still heavy on my spirit. They
About your
canceled
boy?
my boy Pepe Le Pew.
You still
They canceled
I'm not
Pepe.
I'm
You
not
look,
mad at
I'm
it.
telling no, they canceled Pepe. It's different. It's one thing to say, oh, we gonna cancel Pepe, but y'all gonna take him out of Space Jam 2?
Yeah.
Why he could
Why?
just have a change of heart?
Yeah, I think that should have been
Why?
a teachable
that would have been
moment.
better because that would
It should have been a teachable moment.
People can change.
I
know-
definitely agree with
They gotta
that.
let you
You
in the
know,
writer's room.
but
That's a good
definitely agree
suggestion.
with
But then, if that's the case, look, the reason I want to talk about who's going to get canceled next is because since they canceled that boy Pepe Le Pew, we've come to find out that most cartoons of the times have been racially insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
I have always been a huge Bugs Bunny guy.
I like Bugs.
But I was watching a YouTube video today.
Mm-hmm.
Bugs racist than a mug.
I'm sure he probably.
I
is
mean,
in
there's
some way.
one scene when he was in a shootout with Native Americans, and and they were shooting bow and arrows at
Yeah.
him, and then he gets with his gun and with his shotgun, boom, boom, and then he comes and he says, "One little engine, two little,"
Stop,
and I was
stop.
like, "Whoa!"
No,
Stop.
did you see the one they got Bugs? It's like he's playing a piano and there's like he's like in front of like a Broadway crowd. He's playing the piano and somebody's making a whole bunch of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Bugs pull out his pistol.
And
Pow,
shoot
pow.
him.
And
Yeah.
go sit back on his piano, man.
Oh,
You know what's funny? I can't have this conversation with you guys because I barely remember any of the cartoons I watched.
Okay, so let's
Okay.
talk
So
about
I
a few
really,
others.
so
Let's
I
talk about a few
really, I
others.
really don't know very many things because I think I was always into just like the people type television shows. So Pippi Longstocking was on mine.
You just trying to grow up fast.
Funky Brewster, that type of stuff. I was always
Okay.
constantly watching those. Now, if
Okay.
some of those were racist, please let me know.
Okay, let's talk about recess. Let's talk about recess. This
Go
is
ahead.
this just popped in my head. The black guy had to be the athlete. Why he got to be athlete?
Friend, you mad at stereotypes?
I think I'm reaching.
You are.
I think
Just a
you're
but let's
reaching
talk,
like the council.
but let's talk about some real ones.
Okay.
Let's talk about the crows from, what is it, Dumbo?
Yeah.
The crow name was Jim Crow.
Oh.
I don't even recall
I
that.
didn't even know that. Are you
Council.
serious?
The crow's name
Hit the council button.
was Jim Crow, and all of them had Southern
accents.
They were definitely.
I'm going to watch Dumbo just for
and
the hell of
they.
it.
So we have that. We have the aristocrats.
Yeah.
Aristocats. They had the Siamese.
Yeah, I told you
cats.
about that last week.
Yeah. And then you had who else did we have? We had the Lion King. This one was big. Lion King. We got to talk about
Where?
Listen,
Where?
the Lion King. You talk about the hyenas, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hyenas, and they talked about being banished from the Pride Land, right?
Okay.
And you got banished into what was pretty much like the ghetto.
Oh no.
And I was like, who
Who told you that, Dr. Ubo?
it was the video. Look, we don't, who may be tripping?
That might be a slight reach.
It's a lot.
It's, you know what? I'm gonna actually. I should have actually got the link so we could show.
Yeah, that would have been
video.
interesting.
But there was a few that Bugs. There was one that Bugs did where he was selling ice cream and he was calling people slant eye and like it
Bugs?
was, yes.
Bugs be tripping.
Yes, it was. It's like matter of fact, I'm gonna post that video.
You're gonna have to.
The video.
I've been curious about the Tasmanian devil. His whole depiction. I have been wondering about
No,
that.
but it's a lot of them in there. I'm gonna pull it up and show you. But
okay,
what's up?
I was gonna say I don't know if y'all seen the Marvel documentary, but there's a scene in there when they're showing it's Marvel and DC, and they're showing the early Batman, like of the 30s and 40s, because you know Batman been around forever.
I thought he was DC.
And Batman is DC, but it was Marvel and DC. But Batman was like, there's a scene and there's like a Chinese guy, and he's like, oh, a Jap. Like Batman, yeah.
It's crazy.
And
It's
this is black and white
That's
television.
that's why the Joker was on his ace.
But
you gotta stayed on his
these things have been around since the 20s, the 30s,
Yeah.
the
I
40s,
know.
50s, 60s.
But we can't.
So they've come through the times, and I feel here's my thing with I want to briefly touch on the council culture.
Yeah,
because that's a whole episode.
We
in
probably
itself.
was about to have the same thought process.
But it's more so. Now y'all decide y'all want to cancel them now. Like I ain't seen Bugs Bunny and I don't watch Looney Tunes. Did you know they took Elmer Fudd's gun?
What?
That's his whole character. He's a hunter.
No, he don't have a gun.
Well, he can't
He
go
still
hunt,
got dynamite.
so he can't
All
hunt
he did was
rabbits.
shoot.
He can't do
He
it.
has- he
He
has no-
can't hunt rabbits
It's real
anymore.
dumb
Like,
stuff.
what the
Like,
hell?
it's real dumb stuff like that. But anyway, look, that's kind of
we
kind
gotta
of
come
move
back to
because
that.
one thing I really want to we talked about the council culture a little bit because like I said, that's definitely another episode. But we talked about the council culture because a few things going on in the media involving parenting.
Yeah.
And we got the Kirk Franklin situation with his son,
His big head son.
and then we have I don't know if y'all saw Dwyane Wade's daughter Zaya sat down with Michelle Obama.
I did.
Virtually.
Yeah.
Sat down and kind of had a chance to interview and talk with her and things of that sort. So and then as I'm watching that exchange, I'm watching that video, just reading the comments and like grown people having so much to say degrading this 12-year-old girl.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you don't agree with her living her life.
Yeah.
Emphasis on her. People have an issue with Dwyane Wade, exercising that right and supporting his child and the decisions that obviously they collectively made over years of counseling and years of working through that process. But people have an issue with it. And then you got people like Boosie, who comes out and everybody's like, agreeing with Boosie, and he's saying, that ain't right and blah, 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 blah. But,
come on, man.
Wow. He
did sound just like it.
But, coming out talking about that, but then Boosie's actually saying, you you pretty much allowed your son to
Yeah,
be raped by a grown woman.
Yeah, so you allowed pedophilia.
I mean,
you allowed that.
so y'all still supporting Boosie or what's going on?
They love them some Boosie,
and it's really stupid to me.
It's
you know,
beyond
so
stupid.
I definitely want to talk about D Wade and Zaya. I think it's something that has happened a long time, like a while ago, but it continues to come up, and obviously, I feel the need to put the disclaimer out there. I am a huge D Wade fan, have been since he was at Marquette. Followed the man, followed the story.
Yeah.
You know, Miami Heat fan because of that. Been a Miami Heat fan since 03, not a bandwagoner. Put that out there. But this is completely non-biased. This has nothing to do with Dwyane Wade. This has to do with a father
fathering
his child. And that's what this has to do with.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about this situation. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with the situation, we'll kind of give a rundown. Dwyane Wade and his ex-wife had 2 children, Zaire and Zion. And as of recently, the last few years, Zion has began to transition into Zaya. That child used to be around a lot when he was younger, and then he actually went off scene for a while. You never saw him.
Right. Correct.
I'm thinking that's when they were going through this battle, because this has been an ongoing battle since 3, 4, 5 years old.
Right,
So it's been something that has been going on that the family has dealt with privately. So it's been a long-standing situation. And then Zion reemerges probably about 2 years ago. Reemerges as being openly gay. They're attending pride events as the family, supporting, and then we learned that we're transitioning from Zion to Zaya, and so obviously people always have things to say about how you raise your children, what you should do, and what their child would never do, and so I mean it's definitely something we have to bring to the table and talk about. So first off, Chris, Nee, how do y'all feel? Like, this is my 2 cents on D Wade and Zaya. How do we feel?
Whoa. That's a lot to unpack here, right?
Yeah.
It is a lot. I had a couple of questions beforehand, but I forgot them now.
Okay. All right.
I feel like in regards to people that try to attack her when she posts and whenever she shows her face, I feel like that's wrong, because that child has chosen the path that she wants to walk in. She has support from her parents. So for you to bash her because you may or may not agree with it, to try to call her out her name, degrade her, disrespect her, that's wrong, right?
Okay.
Having said that, how do I feel in regards to it? I don't agree with it, but that's only because of my personal beliefs.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with how I'm going to feel about her as a person. We can still eat at the same table. I still have no issue being around you, and I still embrace you as a human being because I love you as a human being. I just don't agree with the lifestyle. But as long as your heart is pure, you can still be around me, and I will still have no issue going around you.
Okay. So, you have anything you want to add before?
No.
Okay. So, that's fine and dandy.
That's
cool.
just the surface. Scratching the surface.
Yeah, I mean, scratch. All right.
What?
He said scratch the surface, so we're gonna
pause, bro.
How am I pausing?
I'm just messing with you.
This is live recording. No, I'm joking. Anyway, but yeah, what if it was your kid? I think that's the main thing that people, my kid could never do that, and ain't no way I'm standing for that in my house. And you know what I immediately think about every time I hear that?
What?
Generational curses.
Oh, beyond.
Like,
beyond,
I
beyond.
mean, how your child, you were a child once.
Absolutely.
And you had
probably a freaky one at that.
Them.
I'm just talking about whoever they talking about. I mean,
thought we were talking about you.
No, we've heard the music that they listen to.
Okay.
We've heard the lyrics that our parents listen to.
Okay.
True
statement.
She got herself out there with real good. Didn't she?
Mind your business, Chris.
Mind your business. That's all. That's all. Just mind your business. Just mind your business. But it's if this was, your child. Basically
Right.
being generation girls. We were kids. I mean, I told the story before about how my dad had an issue with me buying a Bluetooth earpiece. And, I had no idea why he was upset about it, but he had a major issue with me having a Bluetooth earpiece. And so by that standard,
Right.
there are things that don't make sense about how everyone was parented.
Right.
There's stuff you gonna find and you be like, that makes zero sense. I'm not doing that to my child. And there are also things that we have formulated in our mind as our beliefs, our morals, our moral code or whatever that we live by and stand by, that were given
Right.
to us. One of those being Christianity, but we don't want. I'm not going into that religion
Please
conversation.
don't. Please don't.
But there are things that were given to us.
Yeah.
There are beliefs that for the longest time I didn't think women should be in the pulpit because that is a Southern Baptist thing. I didn't believe that women should wear pants to church because that was a Southern Baptist thing.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that you could wear jeans to church because that was a Southern Baptist thing.
Yeah.
But then as you grow and you evolve and you walk into church and it's like, the pastor got on jeans. Because
come as you are, they say.
Yeah, come as you are. And it's not, I'm not being disrespectful because I didn't dress, up 100%.
Right.
I'm here and I'm here receiving the word. That's what matters.
Especially after a good Saturday.
Okay. That's your business.
There you go again.
See,
Sid.
telling
you
on
telling
yourself.
too much.
I'm not telling anything. I'm an open book here.
But I'm
Okay.
supposed to mind my business.
I'm not telling anything folks don't know.
So you have those situations. So if this was your kid, Sydney, Olivia.
Dude.
I'm sorry.
Cam.
Okay. Oh.
let's
I won't do it again.
All right.
Just don't call me Cam.
Thank you.
So if this was your kid, this was your child, does your stance change?
I don't think so. I really think I'm in a place right now. I'm kidless, so I don't know how I would react. I think my stance is always going to be take a little time, figure it out.
Okay.
We'll go through this together. And if you really want to do it, then so be it. Because I don't want my child to resent me. That's my thought process.
Right.
I'm going to love you through anything. Even if you want to cut your foot off today, I'm going to love you through that.
That we don't want them to be Toby.
Yeah, don't want them to do none of that. But
I'm sorry.
I'm okay.
Sorry.
I'm okay with that.
Kunta. We don't say Toby.
So I think I'm okay either way, but I am, adamant about helping them get through it. It goes a little deeper for me because it's kind of like I don't want it to be some genocidal type thought process behind it. Like, we're not going to be able to reproduce if you keep doing this stuff.
Okay.
That's
one way to look at it.
That is one way to look at it. Quality.
But kind of from the sense of, I think a lot of people talk about one of the major issues that you see in comments is that my child would never do this. I'm never going to stand by and let my child do this. When you turn 18, you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like that to me is probably one of the most terrible pieces of parenting perspective ever, because especially in this situation, you're telling me I have to wait 18 years to be who I am.
But you don't. I don't know, because I
disagree.
I don't think that's a problem.
It should be interpreted a different way. I'm telling you that if it's that important to you, if it defines you that so much that once you turn of age, once you're 18, you'll be able to make this on your own. You won't need my help to do it.
But once I have turned 18, I have lived 18 years as someone I'm not. So now I'm 18 and I have no idea who the hell I am.
But the thing about
because
that,
I have not been able to.
Do you really know who you are
it,
at 30?
If you make the sex change at what's her name, Zaya's age, at 12, you are not 100% cognizant of who you are. You're okay with who you are in that moment, but even at 18, 21, 25, you still are finding yourself.
And that's the piece that people are missing out of the conversation that Michelle Obama did say to her. So I don't think Michelle Obama should be crucified in any of the stuff that she did. She was a very responsible adult with the words that she told this child.
She did a hell of a job.
She specifically said, hey, you're doing what you feel is right, but I support what you're doing, but there are people that are like my age that are still becoming
who they are.
Right.
And she's 50.
But
so I don't think she was wrong, and I think that's okay. I think as a parent, I personally probably, not as harshly as Boosie said it, but I don't think I would
Boosie.
walk them all the way down the aisle to that. But if they were that confident about it, I'm making sure we understand, hey, it's going to cost you more to, go detransition.
If that's what you
You choose
right?
to do. So if you're that adamant about it, we have to talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am going to tell you at 16, I'm not paying for it. I'll give you half of it. Go get a job. Figure that out.
Wow. But I think
I might go that extreme.
I think one of the things that upsets me most about comments is we don't know them people's life. We don't know how much counseling, how much therapy, how much conversation, how much work went into these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, because I have always followed Dwyane Wade.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always wonder, like, what happened to the kid? Like, where
I never paid attention
because
to that kid.
He went missing like the whole.
I had
LeBron
no
era.
idea. I forgot
like,
that the man had even had
I
children.
mean, like,
honestly.
as a kid, I'm going to refer to Zion because at the time
he was a child.
it was
That was
Zion's, but Zion was literally there, and around the time of Dwyane Wade's divorce, Zion disappeared and was not around for anything. You only saw Zaire, and you never.
Attention was focused on Zaya.
Right, and there was one point that Zion and Chris Paul's kid, Chris Paul's son, they actually had a children's sports show.
Interesting.
I never knew that.
They did like an episode or two, and it was like I said, it's always been clear that Zion was
different.
Was a different kid, and I think you have to credit the parent for being open to the idea, because
of course
it's not something that I mean, granted, if we speak honestly, I don't think any parent wants this. No parent wants their child to go through, a search of identity and deciding to, they're not who they were born as. They're something but someone else. I don't think any parent wants to.
I don't like that contradictory statement though, because to say no parent wants this idea of their child, yet you preach to me and to say be who you are,
which is my point.
So I don't get it.
It's a thing of you look and say, you know what? I think that was the biggest parenting win for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I applaud Dwyane for the most.
Okay.
Is because it's easy for, think about it from the perspective of a dad and his son.
Absolutely.
And, but you have to look at it and say, you know what? I think the biggest thing to me is this support. And another thing that people say is you don't have to put it in the public eye.
Oh, yeah.
And to me,
that's sweeping under the rug stuff.
And to me, no, I think it's important that it's in the public eye, because there are other children who aren't wealthy, don't have a dad like Dwyane or like a bonus mom like Abra Union, don't have that support, and those people are struggling with this same situation.
How to
and
parent
their
them.
Parents
learning.
On their parents or the people in the comments. My child could never do this. And so these children grow up never getting to be themselves, never getting to feel like I'm afraid to be who I am because my parent will not support me. And I have to wait until, I'm 18 to be who I am. And even then I risk losing my parents.
Absolutely.
And so it's important that it is on display, because this is a conversation that your kid could be struggling with.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because, that whole lifestyle has always been taboo. But they love the music they make.
I think it's important for them to put it in the public eye, but only because it's like you made a decision, you stand on it. And regardless of who agrees or disagrees with it, your family made this decision. And like we mentioned before, Z was hidden from the family. Well, not hidden necessarily. I don't know if it was purposely or not. We didn't see her.
Right.
And now we're able to see her again, and we understand what's going on. There are no questions, so she is able to confidently be her, which is cool. And they support it in their particular family.
And I think what it shows is that I think as a parent, Chris, said you mentioned you're kidless.
Yeah.
Chris, we know you have.
I got a daughter.
You got Maddie May, and then I'm on the other rim where I have a bonus child.
Nice.
And so shout out to Aiden, that boy Aiden. But so it's the situation kind of presents itself is that I think one of the main things that you want to do as a parent is you want to convey to your child that no matter what, right, wrong, or indifferent, I got your back. I may not agree with you, but you know what? I will fight with you, and nobody is going to be able to
tell me about my child.
Nobody is going to tear you down.
Yeah.
I still may not agree with you, but I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to make sure I have your back. No matter what this world throws at you, you have a safe haven with me.
So is it possible to do that, right? Everything that you just said, and also be clear and transparent with your child about your feelings toward their lifestyle?
I mean, because I don't think
how important is that conversation
it's
to be had?
still an important conversation. It just all depends on how you present it. I don't think if you are very angry about it initially,
which
and
is the traditional
is
black
the traditional
way. That's we don't
way
play that.
We're not
no
doing
deal.
it. They definitely need to seek out whoever they want to seek out to help mediate that conversation, because the last thing you want is to find out that your child either committed suicide or is literally doing bad at school or something like that. You definitely want to find other avenues. I know we hate therapy, but we need to get a mediator or get anybody there to help have that conversation, especially if you're angry about
right.
it.
I mean, and that's the thing about mental health. Like it's so many levels to it. So obviously, a child who's dealing with confusion on who they are in general, that's a normal kid thing anyway. But now I'm not only confused about who I am as a person, I'm confused about my gender. I'm confused about my sexuality. I'm confused about, I don't know how to act. This is not me. I don't feel like this.
Right.
Y'all, have y'all seen Lovecraft Country?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know how in Lovecraft Country how they like tear the skin off?
Yeah.
And it's a really I think this is kind of an example of how you go through the process of transitioning and ripping the skin off was really hard.
Like that,
it was painful. It was really traumatic.
Yeah.
But once they came out of it, they just felt amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we're looking at. We're looking at a child who I don't think would we be having this conversation if this was Zaire, who is
here's a question,
who is of age.
Do you think
I'm not big on it.
Do you think we'll be having a conversation in 20 years when these children who are the first of their generation to really put this on the forefront, if they're having mental health challenges 25 years from now because they regret their decision? What are we going to do then?
I mean, if you regret your decision, I mean, it's not a permanent thing. It can be.
But for some people that scrounge up all the resources to do it one time, because it's not cheap. It's something that you have to work towards and either have somebody finance you or really be dedicated enough to where you want to allocate a lot of funds to it. So it's not cheap. So if we do this now, 20 years from now, you're regretting your decision, what are some of the things that we're going to do for people then? Because everybody is, and I'm not saying that, you should be afraid to support it, but the fact that everyone is so supportive of people making these decisions, not knowing the repercussions down the line, what are some of the conversations that we're going to have years from now if people are regretting their decisions?
On the flip side, what conversations are we going to have if people are not allowed to be themselves?
That's the conversation we've been having, which is what's led us to this point.
To detransitioning people. And that's it's not a high percentage, but I know it happens. I know it's talked about.
It's really tough to say, like I said earlier, you have to wait to 18 to be who you are. And then once you turn 18, you're transitioning and you're pretty much starting from scratch of being this person. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side of that, you have to go through a lot of counseling, a lot of therapy before it can ever happen. It's kind of like when you go through a divorce. You have to be legally separated in some states for a year before you can go through a divorce. To ensure this is what you truly want. It's a process. A process of stepping back and things. So I'm definitely know there are protocols in place for that. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. It's for me. If this was my child, and that's why I always have to put it back into that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If this was my child, you know what? I support you, and I mean, I may not agree with it. I mean, because this is not how, I was raised. This is not how I was raised. This is not a belief that I had, and not a belief that was instilled in me. But I support you. I cannot tell you who to be, how to be. I can't tell you that because I don't know what you're feeling. I don't know who you are. I just know that I'm going to support you 100%. I'm going to make sure you have all the resources.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that I put you in the best position to make sound, informed decisions.
Right.
And if we go through the process and we go through the counseling, we go through the therapy, we go through the prayer. If that is something that you feel, you go through those processes, and if this is the decision we come out with, if this is how we're moving, then that's how we proceed. What bothers me most is that people say the Bible says this, and God doesn't like this. Now, I have an issue with people picking and choosing what parts of the Bible they decide they want to enforce. I have an issue with you are a avid fornicator, a avid lawbreaker, a avid adulterer, but I'm going to hell
because of this,
because I'm gay, or it's like we pick and choose what in society is an acceptable sin, and that nothing bothers me more, because I don't feel like homosexuality is any different from. I mean, it's a sin is a sin is a sin.
I think
right?
That's exactly where I
if you believe it's a sin, because some people don't believe it's a sin. I mean, that's that's kind of your thing. So I'm just saying you can't pick and choose.
I agree. I don't like the picking and choosing of what we crucifying and why we not crucifying it. I mean, I don't like that either. So I agree with you. I've lived my own life. I've made my own decisions a few times. So being crucified for anything is part of the cancel culture. That's where they get it from.
I don't.
That's where they get it from.
I don't necessarily subscribe to crucifying somebody, because only God can judge me and you as well. However, if we choose to go down the Bible route and we subscribe to Christianity, I feel like at the end of the day, we all have subjective ways that we interpret Christianity. But one thing that we may all be able to agree on is God values what's in your heart. And if you choose a lifestyle that God has deemed an abomination, I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm
gonna still keep eating these shrimp.
Right, I'm not trying to offend anybody.
What?
I'm just saying, if you choose that lifestyle, you put yourself in a position that's furthest away from God being close to your heart, right?
Yeah.
And from that perspective, I think that's what bothers people about it so much from a religious perspective versus other sins, if we want to be like that and compare it. Because if I am a fornicator, an adulterer, or a criminal, whatever the case may be, you can change that overnight. That's not a permanent lifestyle that you're subscribing to, whereas this is a permanent lifestyle that you subscribe to. So people that are, especially in Texas, we live in Texas, the Bible Belt, people that subscribe to hardcore Christianity are going to have a problem with that, because you are subscribing to a lifestyle that you do not plan on changing from.
Okay, so I can say,
interesting.
I can say that you have subscribed to a permanent sin.
Oh.
You can say that.
I'm saying you have Madison. You had a child out of wedlock, which is a sin,
right?
And so obviously this is a conversational piece. I'm not attacking you, because I just need the people to understand. I ain't attacking my brother. You know what I mean?
Is how
this is
talk.
healthy.
This
is healthy conversation.
You know, like, but you. So that is a permanent situation. Like, I mean,
it's a permanent situation, but you can atone for that by getting closer to God and not making the same mistake again.
How is that always the end all be all though?
You can.
Why we got to go find
I'm just saying
religion to fix
You don't, but
let me
in
stay out of
the because for the sake of the conversation, just because we're talking about religion, so just from that perspective, like, yes, you have a child out of wedlock, you repent for your sins, and you try your hardest not to make the same mistake again. So yeah, you have a sin that you have committed and you can't reverse, but you've made a point in your life not to subscribe to the same lifestyle again. You've taken measures to make sure that you live differently, to make sure that you don't end up in the same predicament.
And I think one of the things that kind of similar to what you said. What is wrong with you?
I'm just having a moment to myself.
Okay. But I think one of the things is that we say they are subscribing to this lifestyle. And those same people would tell you, this is who I am. I'm not subscribing to anything. I am being myself. This is who I was born to be. Now, then people say, well, God don't make mistakes. And it's like, okay, you know, I mean, it's
hard to tell.
The point of it all.
Come on, Anthony.
That's Anthony.
Come on,
I didn't even do that on purpose. But the point of it all is let people raise their own children.
Absolutely, but I mean, it takes a village. I still believe in that. I think if
I solely
and your
believe that.
village doesn't necessarily have to be the people on your street. That just happened to be what actually happened back then because we were kind of stuck there. I'm assuming we were stuck in that particular place, so we all had to do that. But yeah, wherever your village is, help raise that child. If you don't subscribe to it, then keep your opinion to yourself, and then you go do all of that stuff that you're supposed to do to help them do that.
I want to add,
but don't shut the child out. I mean,
right.
I want to say this. In such an opinionated world that we live in, there's obviously just as many people that don't like some of these new lifestyle subscriptions as there are that are okay with it, right?
Right.
But we live in a mass media environment.
Right.
So much so to the point where, 'cause he and I were having this conversation not too long ago, people say, okay, if you don't want to see this stuff, don't look at it, scroll past it. But
so censorship.
In your face. You can't run from it if you don't necessarily agree from these things. You have to see it. You know what I'm saying? I
don't think you do. I don't know. So that brings up an interesting point. Remember, I think I sent that to y'all in the text message where there's the meme where it says Pepe Le Pew getting canceled for his rape, for his quote unquote contribution to rape culture. And then there's our favorite two black women promoting homosexuality on television. So it's kind of like, what are we?
Just for clarification, you're talking about Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B on.
I wasn't naming names. I like some of y'all records.
I mean, I just have to give context.
No,
I just have to give.
I'm not in.
You know, I just had to provide context to what we were talking about.
So I mean, if it is stuff that we see and that's what we're programmed to, why are we so upset when they make these decisions? I don't think that watching the squiggling lines worth of TV made me a freakazoid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that.
Here's what I think it is. I think people have an issue with it. I think people have an issue with it being in their face because people feel like it's going to influence their children to do the same thing. And for me,
TV cannot raise your child.
And for me, I say the one that's dumb. For two,
TV not finna raise me.
I gotta challenge that. Go ahead and get to your second point though, but go ahead.
I mean, I just say it because there are many influences in life, and your job as a parent is to guide your child in the way, because if we get biblical and we say you raise a child in the way they should go, right? And in doing so, you only raise them in the way that you deem they should go, right?
That's terrible.
And because you're parenting this child,
and
so in saying that, everything my parents instilled in me was not correct.
Yeah.
Doesn't
make them bad parents.
It does not make them bad parents at all. That was their beliefs. That was what they learned. That was what they stood on. And it's important that one of the conversations I have with Aiden on the regular is, Aiden is blessed to have a lot of parents, a lot of like parental figures, right? And a lot, you have lots of sets of grandparents and
nice.
You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot. So your situation is unique. So yeah, the kid at school may be talking noise, but you got
Backup.
extra.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, he talking to us because but he just got one set. You got 4 sets, my guy. You know, but one of the conversations we have is that there are rules over here. There's rules in our house that you have to abide by. Now, when you go to dad's, rules may be completely different. I have no control over the rules of dad's house.
Right.
But when you're at dad's house, you follow dad's rules.
Yeah.
When you come home, you follow these rules. Right?
And
So what you get to do is say, when you get your own stuff, what do you want to do? You have a lot of different examples of rules for a house.
Yeah.
You sift through it and figure out what your rules, what you're going to stand for and believe. And it's not up to me to tell you how to build your house.
Right.
It's up for me to tell you this is how I have chosen. This is how me and your mom have chosen to run the house. And because we are choosing to run this house, this is how you going to abide by in this house. You living. Right? And so when you get up, you make your own rules. You make your own set. You do it the way you want to do it. Right? And so, but I'm going to teach you the way, not the way. I'm going to teach you a way. Yeah. I'm going to show you a way of doing it. Right. You know, if you decide that you want to do it a different way, if you decide you want to fold the towels this way, fine, fold the towels. But when you fold my towels, fold them the way I told you to fold them.
Come on, man, don't be that petty.
No, it's
that's for real.
No, because
I mean, I
folding go a long way.
I mean, I do. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna be that.
Yeah.
But there's a way. So here's my solution to that. If we're literally trying to not stick to the generational curse of why you under my roof do what I say thing, I think that there should be a way to where his allowance will buy him his own towels, and you get him someplace to put his own towels. That way he can fold them however the hell he wants to.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? The way I'm putting it,
I can feel you on that. But at the same time,
just to give him a sense of independence. I mean, if you're gonna be in my house, I think that's why I don't have no kids. I'm done.
But you can do that in certain things. At the same time, when you half-ass fold a towel and you feel like just because you put the money on it, you can half-ass it and the presentation don't matter to you.
But that's character building.
So
you still can deal with that the same way that the teacher does. The same way you put this. You come into my classroom, you know you're supposed to do this particular thing. Just like when you know you come into this house, the first thing you're supposed to do is get out your school clothes, put on your play clothes, do all that other stuff, right? You know these things.
That was the rule for us.
You know what I'm saying? So
that was out there.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know the way you still want them to do it. You just kind of curtail them into their own independence into the room that they're renting from you, technically.
But at the same time, you also.
I think it's okay.
It's possible, but every child is different, man. Because some people give a child with too much independence more independence.
Oh, them the ones that build bombs. I'm sorry.
So I mean, it's a whole thing. So I mean, let's do this. Let's put a pin. Let's table Dwyane Wade and Zaya, because that's definitely something that is going to
continuously come up.
That's definitely going to be something that continually comes up. It's going to be a thing forever, and
because it's
definitely
about respect.
We're definitely going to have to talk about that again. But we definitely can't leave this episode without talking about
disrespect and respect. Absolutely. Because
I just want to talk about Kirk Franklin.
I know, but that was the basis of why we into that. They got into that. It was a line where Kirk felt disrespected.
So we talk about the basically, for people who don't know the situation, if y'all don't know these situations, where have you been?
You're not using your phone.
I mean, because you clearly ain't been on the internet, because this is everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, they talk about this everywhere. Like, so, but so in this situation, Kirk Franklin has an older son who is 32, soon to be 33. So we definitely out there to say he's a grown man.
Yeah. You can put the grown A in front of it.
Here's speaking of parenting. So this thing, this thing that happens with Aiden, he can't say grown ass man, obviously. So when I was a kid, we used to say I'm a gam.
Oh no!
Right, and so he be talking about he a gam, and it's the funniest thing ever.
That's so terrible.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
he really believe it too.
He be trying to believe it, but
let him.
It's funny. Anyway, so he has a grown ass man for a son.
Okay.
And so they're having an argument, and the son decides to
record
the conversation. It's mid-conversation, so the video starts. They done been arguing for a minute, obviously, and he starts to record, and then the son, the grown-ass man, starts to clearly instigate him getting cursed out. And what he was trying to show the people is that my dad be real disrespectful to me, but you had to be disrespectful to him for him to do that based off what we saw. Now, what Kirk Franklin said was he called his son a bitch ass, and then he also said that he was going. He
wasn't far from that from that statement. That shit he pulled was unnecessary.
And then he said that he was going to put his foot
in his. That is a normal phrase. I think that has been passed down for a long time.
He did say. He said ass, but he also said, "Mama, I apologize, motherfucking ass."
Oh no.
Yeah,
put his foot.
The MF.
I didn't hear all of that.
He gave him the whole
I must have been laughing too hard.
Oh no, he fed him.
Because I must have been laughing way too hard. I missed that part.
You know what? I may be petty for saying this, but he definitely blessed him.
Oh, he did.
He blessed him.
And
so people have an issue. I think is many different layers to this, because people have issues with the fact that Kirk Franklin cursed, and I'm like, I have. Let me say this. Because I don't want anybody to feel any type of way. I have had a plethora of pastors in my life. I've lived in 4 different cities. 4 different cities.
Okay, Rolling Stone.
I live in 4 different cities. I've visited a variety of churches, and I've called a few different churches home based off where I've lived. Right.
Okay.
So I heard my pastor, one of those pastors, tell his son, "I will stomp your motherfucking ass."
As he should have.
And you know what that did for me? Do you know what that did for me?
It lifted you up.
It made me say, I had to take a step. I had to clutch my pearls.
Oh no, please don't.
I had to clutch my pearls and say, "Whoa!" But you know what? It wasn't like I was appalled by it. I was just shocked. But he's a dad just like everybody else.
Hey.
And that stuff that you know, Chris, you were a boy, and you did some dumb stuff. Cindy, you were a girl. You did some dumb stuff. You did some things that warranted those phrases. Now we can also agree and say possibly no parent should talk to their children that way.
Agreed.
At the same time, though, some people in the world gonna talk to you like that, and you have to be prepared for that. Maybe that's a generational curse. Maybe we are trying to
trying to uphold
get our children ready for a world that they don't need to be ready for. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of weird. I always bring up the example of Terrell Owens. It's a sports reference. I'm sorry, Sydney. But Terrell Owens had a coach, Steve Mariucci, when he was with the 49ers. Steve Mariucci always had Terrell Owens back, no matter what.
Yeah.
He would always support Terrell Owens. But one day he got fed up, and he joined in on the attack on Terrell Owens. And T.O. felt betrayed by that, because you are the one person that always had my back that I could trust. Now I can't trust you anymore. And I feel like we as parents can't operate in that space, because it's really rough that the person, especially this will lead us into another episode, but it's important of having 2 active parents, preferably in the same home, because it's a lot of times it's hard to get your love from the same person who's giving you your discipline in that moment.
Yeah.
It was always, a lot of parents do a great job of, you have disciplined the child, so the other parent comes in,
good cop, bad cop,
and kind of, hey,
consoles
you understand, not necessarily console, but talking to them, you understand what happened, why this happened, but are able to be the ally in the moment. But when it's a single parent, the parent who just whooped your ass is the person trying to come in and tell you why you deserve the ass whooping. And
it's kind of hard to talk.
And it's like, I don't want to see you, man, get up out my face. I had an uncle Jimmy, R.I.P. Uncle Jimmy. Jimbo would get on to you and then come tell you I love you. And it was always backed with I love you. So you was like, even though I'm getting on to you, I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All my uncles, are like that. And my dad is like that. It was like I always come back to it's love. But I'm doing this because you need it. This is something that you need. So I don't know. I don't feel no type of way because Kirk Franklin cursed at his son.
I sure don't.
Because it was Kirk Franklin. I don't feel like I should feel some type of way because it was Kirk Franklin. Yeah. If you didn't have an issue with your dad saying that to you, I can't have an issue with Kirk Franklin saying that to his son.
A random person or a random coach or something like that. Somebody that's around.
Yeah.
So
the deacon will do that. So why are we tripping?
I think that there's a lot to unpack here. That's how we should starting segments, by the way. There's a lot to unpack here. But we all saw the video, at least the three of us did. And I think that Kirk made a mistake by talking to his son that way. And he's okay that he made he made the mistake.
Yeah.
Like whether he prefaced it or not, as a man, as a father, as a Christian, he was wrong for talking to his son that way. But his son was also in the wrong. Mm-hmm. His son was in the wrong for provoking him. Mm-hmm. His son was in the wrong for recording the conversation, which should be a private matter and family business. And his son was also wrong for cussing his father back out after his father said the words to him. Now, what we can conclude and say is that, hey, both parties should probably...
like a preacher, don't he?
He does.
What we can conclude from the text.
It's the stuff she brought. I promise you.
Don't put that on me.
But what we can conclude and say is that both parties owe each other an apology. Mm-hmm. This family probably needs to go to some family therapy,
and they are in family therapy.
He said that.
Even really Kirk has said that they've been in therapy for a long time.
It made me look at the son, and I'm gonna be real with y'all, bro. I'm 30, and from a man's perspective, because none of us are ultimately 100% happy with the job our fathers did with us. We all feel like there probably could have been something differently.
Our parents in general.
Fathers,
I think, our parents in general.
But especially from a man, father-son perspective, we all have demons that we struggle with either the way our fathers lived our lives and tried to teach us, or the way that they just treated us in general. Mm-hmm. Okay,
facts.
But we cannot let that stuff define us.
Right.
And at 33, I have to judge him for his age because he's older than me, and I've been through things with my father that have shaped me as a man, but I don't let them define the person that you wake up and see every day. Right. But at 33, he's continuing to make posts about his dad don't do this, his dad don't do that, his dad ain't been there for him, ain't been there for that. But what we saw from Kirk, while trying to get him, I produced. But what we saw from Kirk was like, yo, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done this. This was a private family matter. We are in therapy. We called the therapist. I'm sorry. I'm going to make a point to do better. So in my opinion, he did what he needed to do to be accountable as a father.
What pissed me off, this may actually be the can't believe it moment of the week. That's can't believe it moment of the week. Listen, you recorded.
Yeah.
No. You had the conversation with your dad.
Yeah.
You decided that, I'm going to record. You pull out the camera. You start to record. You provoked a response.
Yes.
A response out of him. Mm-hmm. You proceeded to post on the internet, and the post you made said, I don't want y'all to tear my daddy down. What you think? What you think we gonna do? What you think was gonna happen?
This man brought me hits.
You remember when Herm,
I'm not gonna be mad.
I think it was either Herm Edwards or Tony Dungy, but they used to always get on ESPN and they would say, "Players, whatever you do, don't press send."
That was Uncle Herm Edwards.
Why,
really?
Don't press send.
You can type all that stuff. You can even record it.
That is very therapeutic.
We don't press send. And once
it's very therapeutic, people.
Once we do that, we can bounce back from the feelings that we feel in the moment after the fact.
Please go look at your local stuff and get you some writing prompts.
Because real quick, somewhere, mind you, boy is 33. Somewhere in America, there's a 13-year-old who is seriously being verbally abused by their parents. And all that his situation does, because in my mind, he's searching for clout and attention. All that he did was gaslight what somebody else is going through, and that's not right for what those people have to go through, because there are people who are genuinely being abused. And the difference between a minor and a 33-year-old man, a minor does not have the control to remove themselves from the situation.
Right.
If Kirk is talking to you crazy like that, hey, Pop, I'ma holler at you. Click.
I mean, and that's what Kirk did. Kirk felt disrespected,
Yeah.
and then I think after he said what he said, it was kind of like I felt like he hung up the phone because he was. To me,
He
it
was
felt
about
like
to come through the phone.
but it felt like
That's
to
why he
me,
hung up.
it was like I let him
Get
Right.
take me there,
Yeah.
and I'm disappointed in myself. You know what? I'm removing myself from the situation.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean I obviously they both want a relationship with each other,
Yeah.
and that's why they're trying to do the work. We don't know how long they've been doing the work.
Said it's been a while.
But you know what I mean. I just want to applaud them for doing the work. Both of these families that we've talked about,
They're
I
doing
want
the
to
work.
applaud them for doing the work.
Yeah.
You know, doing
That's the biggest part.
mental health is important. Therapy is
Is
important. These things, like, you don't fix things by not talking about them. And I mean, if a lot of people are in situations, you know, 2 quick pennies for thought. A lot of people are in situations to where they can't talk to parents. They can't talk to anybody. They are unable to communicate those things and express how they feel. I am thankful for my parents, that I have been able to express things to them about I don't agree with this area of my childhood. I'm not saying you did a terrible job. You did what you knew, and I understand that. I'm just saying that I am learning that that it was all of it wasn't necessary, and that's not something I want to pass down. Not saying I resent you for it. Not saying
Right.
that, you know, I'm just expressing my truth to you. And so I think it's I definitely want to applaud my parents for accepting that and
Yes.
being willing to listen, because like people don't have a lot of people don't have those conversations
No.
with their parents, or can't have those conversations with people who they feel like have, you know, created certain things in them, or you know, they can't have those conversations. But it's important. 2021, every year it's always been important. But
Yeah, baby
mental
boomers.
health, you definitely got to take care of your mental health, take care of yourself, take care of your mental well-being, because I mean, you can't get nothing right if your mind ain't right, if your spirit ain't right. We definitely got to take this mental health thing more seriously. Matter of fact, we got to figure out a mental health episode. We got to get Bree on for
Do
mental
y'all have a
health.
therapist?
I don't have a
I
therapist.
have a friend that's a therapist.
I have
I
a
know the
therapist.
fudge out of her.
I have a therapist.
You need to get you an actual therapist.
I need my own personal therapist. I try to utilize the employee hotlines for stuff like that. So I don't
Man,
have a
just
person.
come
I
holler
don't
at your
have a
boy
person.
Chris. I can refer you to somebody real good.
He the
I
plug
got
for
you.
therapy.
He the plug for therapy. He the
You know
plug
what?
for therapy.
That reminds me of that
I got
that
Black
T-Pain
man, black
joint.
woman. I got
There,
you.
therapy. Off of the album was called
Okay.
Therapy.
The album was
yeah,
called Therapy.
we're gonna jam
Okay.
that album when I get in the car.
That sounds
But yeah, so let's kind of table it for now. We definitely there's parenting has so many levels to it. Chris, I know you know, so many different levels to it. We'll have plenty of different episodes about different areas of parenting.
I'm definitely gonna be boring.
Oh no, no. If it's one thing, parenting is never boring. No,
I said I'm gonna be boring
No.
through those episodes
no, you-
because I mean,
You'll enjoy
does
it.
a dog count?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
absolutely,
cool.
absolutely.
Speaking of dogs, let me tell you,
Absolutely.
that should be the real Cape
Hey, do
Believe
y'all
moment
let
of the
y'all
week.
dogs sleep in the bed? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Listen,
Yes.
let me tell you what happened.
I think
I'm
it's
gonna tell you a
okay.
quick story.
I
My
like
dog
you,
every
Sid.
night
I
would
really
go
like you.
and hop in his kennel, and he would be fine. He would sleep in his kennel at night.
Mhm.
We get up, take him out. He does his thing. Everything was good. Well, one particular night, Ashley decides, Aiden's gone with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he misses Aiden. He can sleep in here. And so for the weekend, he slept, in the bedroom, which was all fine and dandy. But then Aiden comes back and he goes to go to his kennel, and now we hear
coming into y'all room.
He's spoiled now.
now he whined in the kennel, and I was like, he was
Yeah,
kennel trained.
good.
He was kennel trained, and it was ruined over
Yeah,
one weekend.
good. Mike, you have a
And
dog?
so
Get out there,
Everybody
Mike.
in
everybody
here
here got a dog.
That's a
Mike's
dog.
Mike's a dad.
Mike, what's your
Shout
dog's
out.
name?
What's your
dog's
dog's name?
I said, what is your dog's name?
He telling us the brand.
Goldie?
No. Like,
What is the
do you
name of your
call it?
dog? Do you say come here? Who?
Go.
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 Like
Okay.
G-O.
So we got Go and Gucci,
Gucci,
and Sky and Maverick and
Major.
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 You still got Major? Oh
Still
man,
love
I
him.
fool with Major.
I'm
I
really
got him
happy
at the
you all
North.
dog
All right,
dancing.
you know,
This is like
hashtag dog dad.
we're going strong over here.
But you know,
Major does love my dad more than he loves me now, though.
That's funny.
Oh man.
That's
But
hilarious.
but let's definitely end this 2 songs for the week. Chris,
Go.
you know what? We're coming up on a new playlist. Volume 1 is coming to an end soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we definitely, matter of fact, you know what?
End it.
Let's just start volume 2 right now.
We're gonna start.
Okay.
We're gonna start volume 2 of the playlist. My2Centz, the playlist, volume 2. We definitely gonna start that. The first song is obviously gonna be Apparently. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the name of the episode.
Yeah.
And we definitely gotta drop that. Chris, what you got for us this week?
Okay.
Please, no
so
Pooh Shiesty.
We're not gonna do poo. First of all, you know we need to have a. Never mind.
We don't have time.
We don't have time.
We don't have
I
time.
know you're paying, but
This guy.
my first song is going to be Frank Ocean, "Bad Religion,"
Okay.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm actually in the spirit of Frank Ocean just in general. And
Okay.
just because, one, he's one of my favorite artists, and two, probably because the topic of conversation.
Okay.
Uh-huh. I feel.
So
good.
the
That's
second
good.
song, y'all trying to rush me. I'm trying
No,
to
we
explain.
not.
The second song, I don't know if it's on Apple, Tidal, or any of those, but it's off of Nostalgia Ultra. It's called
Okay.
"We All Try" by
Okay.
Frank Ocean. So
Okay.
if we have that song,
If not, we'll substitute
cool.
it. I'll
If
call
not,
you. I'll
yeah.
call you. Say what you
It's
got.
still out here.
I have this guy. I have, of course, "Meet the Parents" by Jay-Z.
Oh, okay. All right. Quality.
Of course, it's Jay-Z.
"Meet the
It
Parents"
wouldn't
by
be said
Jay-Z.
without
And
Jay-Z.
then I struggle with this one, but my second one is going to be "Family Business" by Kanye West.
You know what? I started to add that at the very beginning because
I like
because he said family business, and I was just about to quote, "We ain't letting nobody in the family business."
Yeah.
That's definitely the joint. I'm going to go. We started the episode, gave the big shout out to the bro that passed, by my boy Zay.
Yeah, rest in
So I'm
peace.
gonna add 2 songs by my boy Obe. We're gonna go
Nice.
Long Way.
Long way.
And we're gonna go Untold Stories.
Nice.
Y'all can definitely check that out. Apple Music for sure. Check out that whole
EP
album my boy
or album,
dropped.
yeah.
It's called Long Way.
Yeah.
Definitely told his story. Glad he was able to tell his story before
Absolutely.
he was taken away from us. But yeah, so we're gonna definitely add those 2 tracks. We'll be back.
Don't let time pass you by. Talk to whoever you have to talk to if you feeling some type of way. Make sure if you need a mediator, call somebody so y'all can hash that out if you need to.
If you need to
But
slide
if-
in my DMs, man, talk
Yeah.
to me. I give really good advice.
If you losing it, tell somebody. Other than that, if you one of them people, say fuck it.
If
Okay.
you need a black therapist, call me. I got you. Or
Chris,
slide
how,
in my DMs.
how they
I
gonna
got
call you? Bree,
number is
Bree,
on my
he told
Facebook.
people to
My
slide into
number
his
is
Bree.
on my Instagram.
Bree, get on your
Okay.
get on your Toby.
My number is
Get on
on
your
my
get on your
Instagram.
fat
Okay.
vibe.
I'm
Get on
an
your
artist.
fat vibe.
I'm sensitive about my
Okay,
shit.
man, let's get up out of here, man. This has been episode 8.
Yeah.
My2Centz.
Yeah.
I gotta give it. It's been a few episodes. Definitely gotta shout out that boy John J Diggs for the outro. Mike,
Nice.
go ahead and drop it. Let's get out of here.
This is our best episode.
Yes, sir.
You think so? I said nothing.
And we out.